One of the most magnetic qualities of an alluring feminine presence is her expression of her deepest and most heartfelt passions in life. Nothing draws the masculine frequency to the feminine more easily than hearing a feminine express her passion in life, whatever that may be and however she expresses it. Maybe she's passionate about birdwatching, singing, or historical preservation. Maybe she's passionate about gardening or caring for nature and animals, or maybe about personal fitness and healthy cooking. Maybe she's a passionate healer or counselor. And yes, an awakened and conscious woman may indeed decide for a period of time to focus on caretaking for others or sacred mothering. We are still mothers in the world, but we can do this in a new way. It's all in how we approach these things. Anything done with awareness, intention, and loving devotion becomes the beauty and passion of our lives. One of the key ways the feminine loses the masculine's enraptured attention and enthusiasm is when she drops her passion after she begins a relationship with a man and instead focuses on making him the center of her entire universe and life. This can create a smothering engulfment for a masculine and really for anyone else. When anyone puts too much focus on caring for others to the exclusion of themselves being a whole and fulfilled person, it is the root of codependency. Codependency implies that we have lost ourselves and now seek to find our identity and value via what we do for others. This is a dangerous way to engage our own energy, and ultimately it's deceptive because what appears to be caring and selfless and devoted purpose is really hiding the underlying martyr pattern of self-disconnection and distracted externalized focus. So how in touch are you with your own passions in life? What are you ecstatic about experiencing, creating, cultivating, or expanding as a passionate pursuit? It can be anything really, as long as we stay alert to that martyr impulse and make certain we're not excluding ourselves and our own needs in the pursuit. Truthfully, the way we find and dive into our own passions makes us radiant and hyper-attractive as women. To explore this idea is to become curious and courageous. If you don't know immediately what your passions are, you can begin to explore them and get back in touch with things you have dreamed of but never had the courage or money or time or whatever else to pursue. We can make a lot of excuses to postpone our own passionate existence. What did you feel passionately about as a child? Was there something you knew you would be or do when you grew up, and did that dream dissipate as you entered your adult life? You see, the reason why this piece is so important is because a being that knows its purpose as passion is a being that knows themselves and prioritizes themselves in their own needs, desires, and development. This lends into all the other ways we've been discussing the nurturing of self-knowledge and self-love. A person that makes time and space and allocates resources to pursuing their own passions is dedicated to themselves in a self-loving and healthy way. It doesn't mean that you have no space to care for others, but it's not at the expense of your own dreams and self-actualization. Now, on the other side of this story, we could say that sometimes people pursue passions to such an imbalanced extent that it's an escape from the intimacy of their relationships and interrelating with others. For example, you could look at a masculine that's always lost in the garage noodling with his projects and is barely talking to his wife and children. We should keep this in mind too as the other side of imbalance when it comes to pursuing our passions in this space. It is rooted in the same self-disconnect as we see with codependency patterns. A woman that models and lives her passion is an inspiration to those around her. She's a woman first, standing in her passionate authenticity, and a caretaker and nurturer as only part of who she is. It does not define her in totality. So another reason our princes turn into toads is because we don't inspire them by leading life with our own strong individual identity, passion, and purpose. We change from the self-focused, happy and healthy woman that inspired and mesmerized them when they met us, into a lost or disappointed woman who is obsessed with them and what they're doing or what they're not doing. We can become fixated on criticizing them for their perceived faults and forget to look within to see where we're maybe not walking our own talk of reaching for our own dreams and becoming the feminine being we know we could be, whatever that might look like. And remember, this includes being passionate and mature about our own sexuality and knowing our own erotic blueprint. How much time have you dedicated to exploring your own sexual desires? What model of care do you hold for the container and tending of your own sexual self? Do you just let the masculine lead this area without any input from your own needs and pleasure being fully activated and fulfilled? If you don't know the passion of your own sexual pleasure, this can result in some dismal results of a masculine leading your sexual life without you really having a voice in any of it. Part of our feminine passion is our sexual expression of passion, and we can see a masculine losing passion over time when his feminine is not healthily connected to her own sensuality, her own sexuality, and her own sexual needs. There wouldn't be too many masculines who didn't show up happily to respond to his own partner's sexual passion expressed for herself and for him. Maintaining our passion in all areas of life is key to maintaining our own sense of self-loving well-being. When this becomes lost, we become dull and lifeless. We owe it to ourselves to stay focused on what lights us up most and to nurture and expand that in our lives. Remember, find your bliss and go towards it. Keep in mind also of the ancestral roots of some of these old patterns, and we continue to have compassion about this. The ancestral feminine could not self-actualize. She was limited to her small, predetermined roles. So explore this ancient tendency in your own feminine psyche to maybe seek fulfillment as actualization out in the world through the masculine who's with you, or by focusing codependently on others to the exclusion of your own self-development and self-expression. These old paradigm shadows do lurk inside of us, and our work here is simply to become more aware of them and just let those old shadows pass out of our experience via our consciousness. As we turn our full light and potential into passionate purpose and vibrant living, we become inspirational vessels for life. There's nothing more magnetic than that.